like to ask everyone if they please stand. I'd like to ask Mr. Brown to lead us in invocation. Mr. Childs, will you lead us in the nation of the flag?
True, if we please, our Heavenly Father, once again, we come to you with grateful hearts, thanking for the opportunity we have to be here as a body to do the business of the city of Kingston. Be with those who are sick and having surgery. Remember the Junior Hendrickson family as he's going through a transplant. Hope everything goes well with him. Just keep his family in our prayers. And be with anyone else, the Wynn family, as they go through this time of suffering. But most of all, we give you praise every day for your son who died on the cross for us. We give you praise every day. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Maggie Steve. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Brown.
Present.
Councilmember Childs.
Present.
Councilmember Griffiths.
Present.
Councilmember Humphries.
Present.
Councilmember Stockton.
Present.
Councilmember Wright.
Present.
Mayor Neal.
Present. Do you hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Griffiths, second by Mr. Stockton. Corrections or deletions to the minutes? Madam Clerk, will you call the roll on the previous minutes?
Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Childs.
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries.
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton.
Yes.
Councilmember Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Do we have any citizens that wish to appear before the council tonight? Seeing none, we'll go into reports. I'm going to start with the council. Mr. Griffiths, do you have anything?
No, just the library has a board meeting this Thursday at 5 o'clock.
Mr. Wright, do you have anything?
I do not.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Ms. Stockton?
One thing that we scheduled last night at our beautification meeting is March 19th is going to be a help day that we were going to gather volunteers at 9:30. We'll have more details on, I have already spoken with David on some ideas as far as help, but definitely want to get with the park director as well, because I think some of it's going to be with the dog park.
Okay. So we have more on that to come.
More on that to come.
Anything else?
But no, not this time.
Mr. Childs, do you have anything?
Like I say, the sidewalk nowhere looks like it's going somewhere. Several people asked what we were doing, and I just put the sidewalk in.
Well, I had one ask me why we turned the sidewalk up.
Yeah. So, but we're glad. Is that going to go on up to the clothes closet? That was asked by several people. I know initially when we talked about it, I thought it was.
Up around the corner?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Mr. Bowling, do you know that information?
Yeah, I've got something in my report about that, but yeah, to answer your question, that is our plan.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Ms. Humphries, you have anything?
No, just work is continuing on Lab Park and ball field lots. Praying for good weather.
Yeah. Looks like they're doing a little bit. I've got a couple of things to report tonight on the Tennessee River Line. We're appointing Dana West and J.R. Best, our Park and Rec Director, as representative of Kingston on that committee. And also I'm going to appoint Mike Farmer to the Planning Commission. Had one resign, moving out of the East Tennessee area. So that'll be the new ones on the Planning Commission. And that's all I've got. So I'm going to turn it over to the City Manager for his report.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got a few things here in addition to my written report. I just got information literally a few minutes ago about a grant through the Department of Health that is earmarked to provide funding for efforts to reduce diabetes in the state of Tennessee, and that includes programs and facilities that promote physical activity. So just what I've read through so far, that's pretty broad, and I might think of several things that can apply toward that. There is no match on it, so I don't need council approval. There is a letter of intent due by March 1st. Not much notice on that, but we're going to be working on that and intend to apply, and I'll have more information to you when I get it. But it sounds like that could be something encouraging for us. As Vice Mayor Humphrey mentioned, work is continuing at a good pace at Southwest Point. All the poles, the pole bases are set. They're doing a lot of trenching work now. Power has been killed to everything but the restrooms and the batting facility while they do that work. I know that JR has mentioned that he has received some complaints about disruptions to the facilities while that work's going on. And of course, we apologize for inconvenience, but this will be well worth it. So we appreciate everybody's patience as that job continues moving. In reference to the sidewalk, unless something changed today, there has been a bit of a delay in that. You may have noticed in that construction due to the lack of availability of concrete. So they're waiting to be able to get concrete, and then they'll be back on that as soon as it's available. The fire department wanted me to let you know they're going to be holding their annual golf tournament, looks like July 30th at Emory Golf Course in Harriman. That's not, I don't think that's confirmed yet. It may be within the next couple of days, but this year they'll be raising funds to help offset the cost of new extrication equipment, which they need. And more information, I'm sure, will be available through the fire department or on their Facebook page once everything gets confirmed. Finally, I just want to congratulate the police department. You may or may not have heard about this. Really a job well done. Last week, they responded to a call of an unresponsive person at 414 West Ridgecrest. While they were on the scene, they observed drug paraphernalia. They secured the scene and obtained a search warrant. And through their search, they were able to seize over 20 grams of meth, 13 grams of heroin, and 2 loaded handguns. This investigation is still ongoing. Charges are pending, but this has been a problem location for some time, and this is a real score. So it's great to see the resolution coming to that situation, and hats off to them for a job well done on that. And that's all I have unless you have any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for the city manager?
Just to add to Councilwoman Humphries and city manager's report, if you want to go by in the morning at Southwest Point, they'll be setting 2 of the towers. It's kind of strange what they're going to have to do, but they're going to set the lights on the third base side of the baseball field and the third base side of the softball field in the morning early. Then they'll start Monday setting all the rest of them. Those are the only 2 poles that they have to get out on the field on, and they're hoping that the ground will be semi-froze because they can't get their outriggers out on the other side, so they've got to come inside the ball, get on the playing surface. So that's going to happen first thing in the morning around 8:30, so anybody wants to go watch them.
Mayor, Mr. Bowling, how much is the max amount for the Department of Health grant?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I got the information, but literally I just got that a few minutes ago, so I haven't had an opportunity to look through that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Seeing nothing else, we go to item 7 as addition of items to the meeting agenda received after closing the deadline. We did not receive any. We have no unfinished business, so we'll go straight into number 9, new business. Item 8 is consideration of adoption of resolution 220208-1. A resolution supporting the restoration of the historical state shared sales tax relationship and the increased single article cap revenue sharing relationship between the state of Tennessee and local governments. Do you hear a motion for adoption of this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Motion from Ms. Wright, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Griffiths. Ms. Wright.
As everyone knows, the state sales tax revenue has been in surplus for several years now, so it is time to try to make an effort to return that sales tax back to the county and the city.
Anything, Mr. Griffiths? Council, any discussion? Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Dennison?
Aye. Resolution passes. Item B is consideration to authorize the city manager to purchase a portable restroom trailer in lieu of constructing permanent restrooms at Southwest Point Amphitheater.
I'll make a motion we do.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. We need to have some kind of cap on this and be able to do that.
Mr. Mayor, I think $80,000 would be the max on it. Not that city, had the city manager go ahead and authorize them not to exceed over $80,000.
And that would be 50,000 that's donated and 30,000 for us to put in. I will say, I wish that first one went sold because I'm hoping we find something like that because I really like that.
Yeah, and I think when Mr. Bowling and I were discussing this, we didn't want this to kind of drag out and find something that's good, and like we have with the bucket truck, and have to bring it back to us, and by the time we got it, it was sold, so maybe we can get this, and I'm not gonna find something good.
So are we looking at the white one that was in the pictures we had, or the first one that was more black and gray color?
I think it's more the first one. I think before Mr. Bowling, if he finds something, I'm sure he'll send it out all to us and say, hey, this is what we got, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we were looking at 4-stall ADA.
Yeah, there's gotta be an idea. Any other questions? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
So just to clarify, this is not to exceed
Not to
80,000.
exceed 80,000.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Daniel?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item C is consideration and approval for the city manager's recommendation to engage the firms of community development partners in Fulham, McAdoo for administrative and engineering services. This has to do with the ARP grants from the federal government. So a motion to approve this recommendation.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Wright, second by Ms. Stockton. Ms. Wright, do you have anything?
No, we need to get on this because everyone else in the country is as well.
Ms. Stockton?
No, and I agree. I don't think we need to delay.
Yeah, because I think that once we get to our point to where we figured out what we're going to do, there'll be a lot of construction companies very busy. Anyone else have anything on that? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Daniel?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item D is consideration to authorize the disposal of surplus property as requested by the Finance Department, Rec, Police, and Public Works. We had a whole list in our packet and we discussed last Tuesday night. To make a motion to surplus.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Childs? Yes. Second, Mr. Stockton. Is any discussion on applications to that list so far? You got
We'll
any?
add more next month.
Okay. Madam Clerk, call the roll to surplus this property.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Daniel?
Aye.
7 ayes.
The next is consideration of appointments to fill 2 expiring term vacancies on the beautification committee for 4-year terms ending March the 1st, 2026.
And I'd like to make that motion. In the packet, you would see that Robert Sparks, that's a member now, and Susan Whitlock both had interest to stay on the board, and that was our recommendation.
Do we have any other considerations for this term?
I do not.
Anyone else?
I'll second the motion though.
That's one, this one didn't need one because it was just nomination. So would you please call the roll on filling 2 terms for Robert Sparks and Susan Whitlock?
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Daniel?
Aye.
7 ayes.
The next one is consideration to rescind Resolution 1499-2 and adopt Resolution 22-02-08-02, a resolution regarding our boards and commission openings to be advertised. Do we hear a motion to approve this?
Move to rescind 14992.
Could do them both separate, I say.
Yeah, it would be better to do them separate.
So do I hear a second to rescind the Resolution 14992?
Second.
Motion Mr. Brown, second Mr. Childs. Is anyone else on council discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll to rescind that resolution.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Daniel?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Now do we hear a motion to adopt resolution 22020802? That is the one that's requiring all boards and commissions to be open and advertised.
Move for the adoption of 22-208-02. It's in your packet.
Second?
Motion from Mr. Brown, second by Ms. Wright. Is there any discussion on that? We're just kind of cleaning that resolution up from.
Yes, this isn't rescinding our ability to advertise, it's just changing the way we can advertise. It will still be advertised on social media, city hall, boards and commissions, and on the city website.
Any other discussion?
Other than it just saves us money. We're not
Yeah.
going to pay for advertising.
Madam Clerk, call the roll for resolution 22020802.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Humphries?
Yes.
Councilmember Stockton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Last item on the agenda is consideration to require that all city boards and commissions meet in the city council room at City Hall and that all meetings are live streamed, recorded, and posted online.
Move for the adoption.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Brown, second, Mr. Childs. Mr. Brown.
Brought this up at the work session. I just thought it'd be good. We spent over $40-some thousand to have a camera system. We do all of our meetings with the exception, I think, 3 right now. I don't necessarily think that they really need to be live streamed. I think they just need to be recorded so that the citizens of Kingston can come back at a later time and either view it on YouTube or view it on our website. So that would make all the boards that are appointed by this body visible to the citizens. Helps during, somebody brought up about COVID. I mean, I think that helps for COVID. That maybe some of the people that wouldn't necessarily come to me, not that we have a lot, and welcome back to you all coming back to visit with us again. Glad to see some visitors in the audience. So I would encourage you to go for it.
Anyone else have
Mayor,
anything?
I do.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I did discuss this with the Park and Rec Board, and their feeling is that they are not in favor of doing this. Their feeling is, well, primarily, we had a couple that were really outspoken, and their feeling is that it's the Park and Rec Board, we meet at the Park and Rec facility, the Park and Rec staff are already there and already have the facility open, and they just wanted me to let their feelings be known. So that's how they feel.
I'd like to speak on behalf of the beautification. I had a meeting last night, and I just wanted to make sure that it was clear on what was requested from the board. They actually wanted me to quote them, and I told them I would document it. At the meeting, they requested, I told them that it would be live streamed and posted online and moved to the location of City Hall. The response were that they were against it due to the reasons, because they are not elected officials, they don't make any policies for the city. They're just an advisory board, and they felt like as members they wouldn't be as open due to that reason of being recorded. And the last thing that they mentioned that bothered them is because of the codes enforcement. We actually do addresses. We discuss those addresses and, as far as codes, and that made them uncomfortable, and they wanted to make sure to let the council know that the board would not be in favor of it.
But we discussed addresses in this meeting too.
No, this is just, they're saying that they're not elected officials to feel like that was their part.
And I mean, I have been, if asked, I have been given names to refer to that were very outspoken against it, so.
Since we don't govern the library, would they cover the library?
We appoint the library board.
It's a state board.
We appoint the members.
It's a state board.
But still, we appoint the members of it.
We also give
I
them.
don't think you have any control over the library board.
Well, I contacted Barbara on this because I at least want to hear from the board member. And me and Barbara truthfully didn't matter one way or the other. Got a response from one board member, and she said, she was against, or he or she was against it. And I said last week, or me, make it open, that I was going to vote by how the board's feeling. So if this don't pass, maybe we can think of another way to do it where it can still be possible.
And that's my question, whether this motion fails or passes. If it fails, can someone make a motion after on a new suggestion?
No, I think we can take it back to the work session next week.
Okay.
It's not something that it's killing us to do right now.
Okay.
So,
We just have to be the one that's not brought it up before, right? I think.
right, if it's a motion
You have to be a
fails.
different person.
If it was, whoever was in the winning would have to bring it back up. Oh, you know, whoever voted against it would be the ones bringing it back up.
So Bishop and the library board, if this passes, are we required to, just curious as we discuss that.
I didn't think so because it was kind of, like you said, governed by the state, but every year, maybe we'd better figure out.
I believe the library board, from what I'm hearing, that they could be cooperative and do that. Force is a different thing from cooperation.
Well, if we did not appoint members to that board, they would not have a board. So we appoint the members to the board, we fulfill their budget, and so I think they're bound by any other board rules that we come up with. That's just my opinion. I understand that we can't increase their funding or decrease their funding. That's about the only thing that, and we can't control their, how they spend their money and their funding. That's about the extent of what we can't, that they govern themselves, but.
Can we move, take this back to the workshop next month? Okay.
Table.
To make sure we're,
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can make a motion to table.
Well, let me say one thing. The reason why I would at least like to see these meetings recorded. We rely on minutes for these meetings. Our minutes for this meeting, they can be verified because it's recorded. Our planning commission meetings, our BZAs, the same way, they take minutes and it's recorded so that we have a way of verifying the things that happen. And the fact, and we rely on minutes for the other meetings, but we don't quite know. I feel like minutes are minimal. And it would be good to know a bigger scope of how these boards feel about certain issues.
But that's the case with all the boards. I know as far as like Rockwood Electric, and I know that they're not city governed in any way, they're a separate entity, but still, you know, we just hear the council members report and the minutes, and that's all we have to go on that and 911.
Right, but that's not a board that we control.
we don't appoint the board.
That's right. Well, mayor appoints a member
We
too.
appoint a member too.
Yeah. So,
I think I agree with Randy. I think this probably needs to be rescinded. Talk about more at the workshop until we're sort of divided on this.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Brown.
Again, as, you know, as just, some of the boards, we don't get minutes for months and months and months, and never know what goes on. I just thought that it would be good to have some kind of documentation. Like I said the other night, I never dreamed that this would turn into a close vote. I just thought it would sail through, and I guess that's my stupidity for thinking that we would want our citizens to see all of our board meetings. Yeah, I withdraw my motion. Don't want to put anybody on the spot.
Withdraw your second.
And I would ask that Kelly put it on the work session for next month.
So that motion has been Mr. Ron?
That keeps me, and the reason I'm doing that keeps it from being tabled where I don't have to have a motion to bring it back up the next time. I'm just trying to pull a little parliamentary procedure on you.
And while we're on this discussion, and maybe this is something Mr. Attorney can answer, on this discussion of a losing member cannot bring the subject back up, is it true or not true that they just can't bring up that exact, the way it's worded? So if somebody was on the losing end and brought a motion that read completely different, then that would be okay?
The only thing that you all are precluded from doing is bringing a particular item of business back up. That's what you're talking about. You certainly have the authority to consider other alternatives at any time.
Okay, that, because this is something that's come up before and I've always been unclear about it. For instance, if I had a vote yes tonight and the vote had lost, I wanted to bring up again and just say, we just record our meetings, that is completely different motion and agenda. Am I allowed to do that?
I think you would be, yes.
Thank you, sir.
There is nothing else on this meeting for the city council. This meeting's adjourned. Then we'll go into the regular scheduled meeting of the Kingston Beer Board. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll for the beer board, please?
Member Brown.
Present.
Member Childs.
Present.
Member Griffiths.
Present.
Vice Chair Humphries.
Present.
Member Stockton.
Present.
Member Wright.
Present.
Chairman Neal.
Present. Do you hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Griffiths, second by Ms. Humphries. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll on the previous minutes?
Member Brown.
Yes.
Member Childs.
Yes.
Member Griffiths.
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries.
Yes.
Member Stockton.
Yes.
Member Wright.
Yes.
Chairman Neal.
Aye. If none can come before the beer board, this meeting's adjourned. Now we'll call up order the meeting of the Kingston Water Board. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll for the water board?
Member Brown. Present. Member Childs.
Present.
Member Griffiths.
Present.
Vice Chair Humphries.
Present.
Member Stockton.
Present.
Member Wright.
Present.
Chairman Neal.
Present. Do you hear a motion to approve the previous minutes from the last water board meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Wright, second by Mr. Childs. Is there any corrections or deletions to minutes?
Nothing, sir.
Madam Clerk, call the roll for the previous minutes.
Member Brown.
Yes.
Member Childs.
Yes.
Member Griffiths.
Yes.
Vice Chair Humphries.
Yes.
Member Stockton.
Yes.
Member Wright.
Yes.
Chairman Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Next item is citizens' comments. Are there any citizens who wish to address the water board tonight? Seeing none, we'll go into the city manager report. Mr. Bowley, you still on the line?
I am, Mayor. Just one item here in addition to my written report. Tomorrow, Kevin and I will be attending, and we found out today, hosting utility meetings, and then going to another one in Harriman later in the month, both to discuss ARPA funding. Everything is starting to move slowly, but it is starting to move, and both of these meetings will be kind of next steps in those conversations. Along those lines, and now that we have our administrative team and our engineer in place through your action at the council meeting, we need to start planning for our next workshop. We need to have a kind of a kickoff and start working through our process and start zeroing in on some potential projects. Of course, would include community development partners, Handful and McAdoe in that meeting. The way things are lining up, looks like probably sometime in March would be the best time for us to do this. And I would think during the day would be better, but if that won't work for you guys, certainly we can make an evening meeting work. But maybe on a Friday during the day, we can get together and just get everybody around the table and start outlining our priorities and get ready to take the next steps to move forward. So I'm going to have Kelly send something out in the next couple of days just to start checking dates that might be available with you guys. And as soon as we get your availability nailed down, then we'll reach out to everybody else and get that lined up. But that'll be the next step in a long process. But I think it'll be an exciting meeting and a way for us to start moving forward. So That's all I have unless you have any questions.
Are there any questions for the utility director? Seeing none, there's no new business coming from the water board tonight. Is there anything else discussed for the water board?
Mayor, on the service line thing, I did receive something in the mail, I'm not about to bring it tonight, for the utility director report, about the insurance going up to 5,000, to 2,500 to 5,000. I did receive something in the mail where they were doing that.
That's something we can, they send to you, or?
The way I feared it, everybody in the city must have got one because it come in the mail, and everything where you can actually go up to.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see
Get
it.
from serve line.
Okay. Anything else come from the water board?
Can the city manager shine any light on what he was just talking about? Is that
Yeah.
something?
Did you hear that, Mr. Bowman?
I did not.
Was because Randy not speaking into the microphone?
I heard Randy, I didn't hear the follow-up.
I'm sorry. My apologies, Mr. Child. No, Ms. Humphries asked if you had heard anything about that from Serve Lines. It's something they're sending out to all the customers.
I have not. That's actually news to me. I haven't heard anything, and I haven't received a copy of that. So
I'll
maybe,
try to get a copy. I'll bring my
copy.
copy by and let you see it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good. Thank you.
Anything else? This meeting's adjourned.